Good morning. Good to see you again. And if you're watching in the afternoon, good afternoon. Um, I'm not really what you would call a Formula One fan. There was a young woman in in Anstruther who I got to know through the secondary school. She didn't come to church, but her parents were very involved in another church, and we just used to chat. And she was one of these people that would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning because the Japanese Formula One race was on at that time, as far as our time goes. And so I always used to I wanted to be aware of what was happening. And so when Lewis Hamilton has had such a prolific career, I wouldn't watch the race, but I would just want to kind of keep tabs. And he did something. It was just kind of like the tail end of August. He did something that I thought I understood, but I wasn't sure why he had done it. You see if.
Nice work, mate. Well done. That was an awesome session. Beautiful work.
That one was for Chadwick Boseman, man. Rest in peace, King.
The Black Panther film, magnificent actor, and such a sad loss that we all woke up to this morning, and Lewis Hamilton dedicating that pole to a wonderful human being.
Today's it's a really important poll for me because, I woke up to like the saddest news of Chadwick passing away, and it's been such a heavy year, I think, for all of us, and that news just really broke me. So it was really not easy to get back in focus coming in today with that kind of hanging on my heart. But I was like, I've got to go out there and drive to perfection because, what he's done for our people and for what he's done for, the superhero shows all these young kids that it's possible. He was such a shining light. So Wakanda forever.
So Lewis Hamilton was commemorating the actor who played Black Panther in the Marvel comic book sort of series of films. And it was just the fact that he did it, it kind of registered the fact that it was more than just a film. It was just a film. And moreover, it was a comic book film. But it did seem to have an impact. It still had an impact on Lewis Hamilton. And so I just wanted to find out why he had done it. And it's these kind of things where you see something on TV, you're not sure what the reference is, or you think you do and you want to confirm it. And then when you dig a wee bit deeper, you suddenly find out a whole bunch of stuff about somebody and you didn't know it when they were alive. I say it as a minister who takes funerals. Sometimes you really do find out an awful lot about people once they're gone. The character that Lewis Hamilton kind of referred to when he does this is the character of the Black Panther, who's one of the Marvel comic book heroes in Avengers Endgame and the final one. But Black Panther had a film on its own, and he was played by an actor called Chadwick Boseman, and it transpired that Boseman was a really committed Christian. He was born in South Carolina, a city called Anderson, in 1976. His mother was a nurse, his father was an upholsterer, and the whole family worshipped in got it written here, the Welfare Baptist Church in Anderson, where Chadwick was a member of both the choir and the youth group. The pastor at the time when he was there has now retired. This guy's name was Samuel Neely, and he was interviewed on TV. He described Chadwick in these terms: he was always doing something, always helping out, always serving. That was his personality. After leaving school in 1995, Chadwick studied directing at Howard University, which is what the Americans call a traditionally historic black college and university, because everything seems to be segregated in that country. He graduated in 2000 with a Bachelor in Fine Arts degree, and again, just the connections. He won, along with some of his other students, he won places on the British American Drama Academy's Drama Academy at Oxford, which was University has lots of kind of midsummer programs, really for university students from all around the world. And although they had won the place, they didn't have enough funds to get there, and it transpired another well-known actor called Denzel Washington, who also happens to be a very committed Christian, had been one of the benefactors who'd made the trip for this group of students. After he graduates, settles back in the US, attends New York City Digital Film Academy, because he was very much involved behind the camera, although he made his success in front of it. Eventually moves to Los Angeles, where he begins his acting career. You will probably have seen him, even if you haven't seen Black Panther. If you like ER, or if you liked CSI New York, you'll have seen him at some point. But the thing that he made a kind of intentional effort to do what you would call big black roles. He played an American baseball player called Jackie Robinson, who is amazingly famous, but obviously not in this country, in a biopic film called 42. It came out in 2013. He also played two prominent African Americans in films. First of all, the singer James Brown, in a film called Get On Up, which I remember seeing advertised, and I didn't go and see. And the one I hadn't seen, but he played Thurgood Marshall, who was America's first black Supreme Court judge, in a film called Marshall, which came out in 2017. But what he's famous for is playing the character of Black Panther, or King T'Challa. And that's where he became a household name, that the king at various points will do a kind of symbol to the people like that, and they all do it back. And he made various choices in the film to speak Xhosa language, which is an African language, as opposed to just doing it in English. It was a very, very black feeling film, and it wasn't just a kind of token black film. He spoke about wanting to do the character. I'd already written about Black Panther in my journals as something that I wanted to do, and I'd written down certain things that I would like to see in the movie about Black Panther. You pray for something, and then it actually occurs, and you almost can't believe it. 2018, Chadwick delivered the commencement address at his home university, Howard University. This is a quote from it. Several Bible passages were used in the speech, and he referred specifically to Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose God has predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. 2016, while he was actually filming lots of the Marvel comic book stuff, the Black Panther film, and then the other films associated with all the other kind of ensemble cast in other films. During that time, 2016, he was diagnosed with colon cancer, but kept the condition secret and just kept on working. It's more, maybe you want to share it with a grandchild or a child, or just somebody young you know, or somebody who just constantly assumes that if it's Hollywood, they're all into sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and they have no interest in anything. First of all, Denzel Washington himself is a committed Christian and a big star. but he invests in younger actors. And Chadwick Boseman was just really, really impressive. And he was impressive. I remember watching the film, not knowing he was a Christian, and just thinking he was so in total control of the role. And now that he's passed away, and now I know that he's actually somebody of real faith, not superficial faith, but quite significant faith. There are times when different aspects of the Christian life will support and help and inspire. Sometimes it will challenge people who are non-Christians. You need to have the people to hand to illustrate. There are people who just quietly get on with the business of being a superstar, but whose faith is what guides them and empowers them and gives them the ability to go on. You might have grandchildren, or you might have neighbours who have got, children with the wee black mask. They had the whole get up, the outfit. Children dressed up as Black Panther and did the sign. Sometimes it's helpful just to help them recognise, see the guy that played him, he was a Christian. But again, it was more than just the character, because he purposefully sought to promote not just Black actors, but Black culture and the way, and put it forward in a fashion that other people could buy into. Like Lewis Hamilton, literally feeling the need to pay tribute to him on the day he died, the 28th of August. He affected a lot of people, and he inspired a lot of people. And it's good to realise, even in the places where you least expect, Hollywood itself, he really was somebody who made a difference. Maybe you could share that with somebody the next time you see a film with Chadwick Boseman in it. Go with God, because I know God goes with you. Bye.